frustration turn into elation as you turn your head to self-isolation decoration.
Hello everybody, Phil here from Paint the Town Green. I'll give you some tips of stuff you can be doing around the house while you're stuck indoors. First thing I thought I'd show you is wooden worktops. Sanding them down and resealing them. Probably been meaning to do it for ages, I certainly have. They easily get stained. If you have a look on this one, there's various marks where you can see someone's put a mug, made a little circle, there's staining here. So what we're going to do is sand them back with very fine sandpaper and a sanding block, and take all the previous sealant off, and then see if we can get these stains out. So you don't want to do it with coarse sandpaper, because otherwise you'll make it all churned up. So we've got a very fine sandpaper and a sanding block, and we're going to start having a little go at these things, just getting a nice bit of bite. You can see where I've taken the top layer of the varnish off, it starts to change colour slightly. I'm going to spend a bit more time on these stain bits. Okay, so I've taken the first layer of stuff off, the previous sealer. There's a few stains a little bit more stubborn, so I'm getting a slightly coarser paper. It's nothing too extreme, but slightly coarser paper to work on these slightly more stubborn stains. Now you notice I'm going with the grain. The grain of the wood is this way, and I'm sanding with the grain. Now if you get something particularly stubborn, you can go across it, but only do it in a small area, and then you've got to go with it afterwards to smooth it out. So I'm going to go across the grain on this little bit. So I've got that mark out now pretty much, but now I've got to go across with the grain to get rid of all the marks rather than across it. I've got a bit more bite going across it to get rid of that stubborn mug mark. Find out who put that mug down, there's going to be trouble. Don't forget your edges as well. I've got all the stains out now, and I've got all the previous varnish, the previous oils have gone. Now I'm going to give the whole thing with my super fine sandpaper, just to make sure it's all as smooth as it can possibly be, making sure I'm not missing any bits. Okay, so I've finished my sanding, I've smoothed it all out, I've got rid of all my stains and whatnot. I've used my slightly more coarse paper to work the bits that needed working. I've gone over the whole thing with a really fine sandpaper, so it's lovely and smooth, but it's very dusty. So before I seal, because I'm a decorator, I've got one of these, but you can use anything. You could even use a hoover with a brush fitting on the end to get rid of all the dust, because we don't want to trap that dust under our oil when we come to reseal it. So we'll give it a jolly good clean. Don't use water, because now you've opened up your timber, it's totally exposed. If you get any moisture, any water on this, it'll get soaked straight into the ground. It's unprotected wood now, so you've got to be careful. So keep it a dry process, either hoovering with a brush fitting. Don't hoover with a plastic end that you get on a Henry Hoover or whatever, because that will leave a black mark in place if you press too hard. So have some sort of brush fitting if you want. Okay, so we're all clear, we're sanded, we're dusted, we're wiped down with a dry cloth. And now we're ready to start doing our roller. Now, I've got this stuff. This actually came with the worktop, but you can use Danish oil, you can use all sorts of products that are recommended for sealing worktops. The principle is the same. You give it a jolly good shake. You put it on with the cloth. Not too much. Just work methodically. Again, trying to go with the grain as much as possible. Okay, so now I'm doing the end, the cut edge that we talked about before when I was sanding it. So really important this bit gets a lot of attention, because if you can come in here and see where the cut edges are. So these bits are classic spots for water to start to get in. You have a water ingress issue there, and that's when you see worktops that start to split. It's often because water's got in at the end, at the cut edge. So pay really good attention when you're sealing it with your whatever oil or whatever product you're using. Make sure you look after the cut edge, because that is the Achilles heel of your worktop. And if water's going to get in anywhere and start to compromise the joints between the bits of timber. So each of these are blocks of timber that have been finely joined, and there's a bit of glue involved there and what have you, depending on different manufacturing techniques, but that is where 95% of worktops split. So make sure you get a really good coating of whatever you're sealing your worktop with on your cut edge to maximise the lifespan of your worktop. And there we have it. Looks a lot better. Do you want to pan down a little look? Looks a lot better, dude. We've edited this a little bit because some of it gets a bit boring watching me sanding down, but that whole thing took less than half an hour to do from beginning to end. Quite an easy job. And how long have we been meaning to do that for?
A long time.
Long time. Took half an hour to do, a little bit of sandpaper and some oil. It's a handy job to have got done while we're all stuck inside.